I'm here from 1 o'clock to 6:45 p.m. and we're in those classes breathing in that air, and I have no idea how to measure it, how it's affecting my lungs, how it's affecting my brain.
And they would be like, oh yeah, when I was going there during a critique, the ceiling tile literally fell like just on a person.
I think there's a lack of like students realizing they have agency, they have power. Like the walkout was planned very last minute, and look how many people showed up because that's how many people it affected. I think what started the recent uptick in activity was the heat wave. LA is not supposed to have humid, hot weather. It's usually dry heat. But this time, like, it was just so bad because there's nothing. Like, literally yesterday, I came to campus. As soon as you walk in the building, it's hot in there. And it's even worse in the classrooms when there's like 20 people plus. On the first floor, at least right here, they don't have the placeholders for the tiles. I think they're more apparent on the second floor, which are where most of the painting studios are. So the average FA4 studio classroom should have proper ventilation, so that there should be a wall like towards the back with like holes in it to be able to suck in the air. There should be proper AC as well. This is a windowless classroom, so there's no air circulation, no way to open the air or anything. You go to the wall, you could see like the individual holes that have been poked, and like I don't even know how safe that is. People have felt nauseous. They've walked out of class like on the first week of class, and like Michael said, like this is a legacy issue. Like alumni can attest to this because this isn't the first time that it's been brought up.
It was like multiple people from different years that would be like saying the same thing. People from 2012, 2015, 2018. The thing I noticed was just that the administration is pretty hands-off about the whole thing. Even when I was going here, if we had any complaints, it was kind of like, well, you have to do it yourself. When we came back, which was like 2021 or 20 whatever, we cleaned the whole studio space. We even got rid of the old sofa that's been there for years. Then we had to clean the mini fridge, which had mold growing in it.
The BFA cleanup, that has been a yearly thing. We have to do it. The school does not have any money for anybody to even go and clean up the studios.
And that causes more respiratory problems too, even during the cleanup. And we even know a professor that retired recently. She said she could no longer teach drawing classes, which is what she really loved, because she developed an allergy to the charcoal.
I don't get it. Like, it's not fair to subject students to that, not only in terms of like creatively and what they're making, but in terms of like their own safety again, like just continuously to breathe more shit in that they shouldn't supposed to. All those problems that had been there throughout the years just got exacerbated with that heat wave.
It's pretty cramped in here. There's around like maybe 20 students this semester, but if you can see, like things just look broken and dirty. And then if you look at like the appliances we have, it's really old, really outdated, and it's usually donation from like alumni from the years before us.
They only came out here after the bad publicity. I'd never seen the dean of students ever. I don't even remember her name. That's how little of importance she is, or how little of impact she has on student life.
It's not a root issue, it's the whole tree.
Yeah.
It's the whole system itself. It can start from like the board, and then it trickles down to the president. I mean, we could easily put blame on the president, who did just get like $106,000 for a raise. We had no say in who's representing Cal State Long Beach, which is the student. Without the students, it's not Cal State Long Beach. We don't have a voice to kind of vote on who we want to represent, and we don't have direct contact on who we can talk to. It causes a clear separation with authority and power versus, you know, the misrepresented and the mistreated. Our whole thing is to make as much noise and attention as possible. The walkout actually did generate a lot of noise. We pretty much had all the media on this campus contacting us for insight knowledge, and then we were lucky enough to actually get someone from LA Times to cover us, and we're having an article being done right now for it. We're praying that stirs up a lot of attention and freaks out the Board of Trustees.
Because like there's more of a momentum and effort. I feel like kind of hopeful, right? Like there's students that want to make stickers, there's students that want to maybe organize another walkout. I mean, there are students who showed up to the board of trustees meeting, so it feels like I feel optimistic, but also like I am worried about that. Like, what if the momentum dies? There's professors that were like, I've been here doing this since 2012, since 2013, coming to these fucking meetings and like yelling at them and stuff. And that makes me sad that they've been there for that long and the board of trustees, like, how do they sleep at night?
Also, I think the number one thing is the fear. For the walkout, there was a great amount of energy. After that, it kind of divided a little. Some students, they were more for like actually doing the walkout, but they were not prepared for the confrontational aspect of it. It can be rough. It really depends on the person. So I don't blame like some of the actual students right now that kind of started distancing themselves from it.
It's just what you felt. Well, just the truth, like how you felt during the heat wave and the lack of AC. That's all. Just nothing about like the faculty or anything. Just.
I'm just blanking on what I would say. Yeah, from it was hot and it sucked. Yeah, like, trying to be more, you know.
Like, did you have headaches? You know. That's true, actually.
I think for protesting, you don't always have to be there, present, and being confrontational, but you shouldn't put the actual protesters down that are being confrontational, because that's like the front man and that's the person that's getting direct responses.
I think the students need to know that they need to keep fighting. They need to keep documenting. Documenting is so important because these fools could just like come up with their own study, do their own investigation, and gaslight us again, right? But if students are documenting like day to day what is happening, even emailing too, right? That is documentation as well, because that is a paper trail within the school of how long these complaints have been happening. So I think the students need to know that we do have power. We could document, we can have evidence, we could organize. It is possible. Students have agency and they need to realize that, or you know, not be afraid, right? Like fear is used in that way, right? To keep people complacent, to keep people from saying anything, from speaking up. But we need to really hammer down the idea that we have agency in and outside of the school, you know?
I would say it's not a root issue, it's the whole tree.
Yeah.
It's the whole system itself.